Hey all, Chris Bassett here, and I'll be doing a solo strategy for the Legend Lost sector, the Conflux. I'll be playing on my Hunter. Let's get into it. The Conflux is found on Nessus. If you don't see it on the map, keep in mind there's a couple prerequisites. One, you have to be high enough light level. This season it's 1510. You have to have already completed the Lost sector on normal mode to get access to the Legend version, and then it has to be that day for the Legend's rotation. I'll put a calendar to the days in the description. Let's go over the class and weapon setup. It's a solar burn, so I'm going to use my gunslinger. I'm going to go with Blade Barrage. I did try a setup where I used Golden Gun and the Celestial Nighthawk for a 6 times multiplier on my one-shot damage. When I did do that, it did about 250,000 damage. I like to use Gambler's Dodge. That way when I dodge near an enemy, I get my powered melee back instantly. And then also the healing grenade. That way I can throw it at my feet for emergencies. The knock 'em down aspect has a unique feature that when you're radiant and you get a kill, your throwing knife is fully refunded. That paired with the Ember of Torches fragment, where powered melee kills make you radiant, that creates an endless melee loop where you can dodge near an enemy for your melee and then just continually throw your throwing knife as long as you're getting kills with it. So I like to go for headshots on red bar enemies, or if it has an enemy has a shield, break the shield with your gun and then throw a knife. A lot of fun with this build. As for my weapon setup, I'll be using my Servant Leader Scout Rifle, my Amit AR-2 Assault Rifle with adaptive munitions, the Sleeper Simulant Linear Fusion Rifle. I like the Wormhusk Crown for survivability. You heal when you dodge. I have the appropriate champion mods. It's Anti-Barrier and Overload, as well as some Solar Resist mods in my chest plate. I like to rock double utility kickstarts on my class mod, that way my dodge is as low as it'll be. After you land on the Cistern in Nessus, we'll take a trip on the Sparrow. I'll show you where the Lost Sector's at. And on the way, let's talk about weapon loadouts. So, as I was saying before, there's 2 types of champions in this Lost Sector. There's Barrier Champions and Unstoppable Champions. If you take a look at your seasonal artifact, there's 5 ways to deal with these guys. You have Anti-Barrier Auto Rifle, Anti-Barrier Scout Rifle, and then Unstoppable Pulse Rifle, Unstoppable Shotgun, and then Inferno Whip, which is a melee that stops the Unstoppable. Arbalest and Ariana's Vow have Anti-Barrier built right in. As you're approaching the Lost Sector, it's right next to this red tree after the Vex Milk Electric Lake. If you haven't completed this on normal mode, just head down that hole there. You'll see the zone change, loading screen, and then you can go ahead and activate the Legend version from this flag right here. The modifier is Solar Burn, so yeah, that's why I'm using Linear Fusion Rifle Sleeper Simulant as my heavy, as well as a Solar AR. So let's go ahead and start up the Lost Sector. Once you drop down, there's usually an unstoppable champion that'll push up on you, so I'm going to get my radiant buffs going. I'm using a solar well setup as well, that way I can recharge my abilities. In this beginning area, there's both a barrier champion and an unstoppable champion. There's the barrier right there, and then usually are more concerned with the unstoppable. So I have Inferno Whip on, so I'm going to stun him and then take him out with my heavy weapon. Once he's down, I'll work on the barrier champion. It's usually best to pop the shield of the barrier champions and then take him out with heavy weapons. I'm going to do a little crowd work, clean up some of the ads, and then towards the back of the map to the left there is a couple of scions with snipers. So I'm going to pull out a scout rifle and then take them out from range. The scout rifle I like to use is Servant Leader. It drops from Gambit. You can also decrypt the engrams from Gambit and try to get specific rolls. Mine has a really nice roll. It's got 4th times the charm and frenzy. You can see my auto rifle, even though it's solar, it's tearing through the void shield. Normally on match game, any unmatched shield is really hard to take out. My Amit AR-2 rolled with adaptive munitions. Adaptive munitions works by progressively increasing the damage of your weapon against unmatched shields. So this solar auto rifle is compatible with the solar burn of the Lost Sector, and is also pretty effective at taking down the void shields. So it's actually a really handy perk in high-end content. My version of the auto rifle was just a random world drop, so I got lucky. However, you can put in time at the table and craft this weapon with advanced perks as well. I like to hug the left side of the map and take cover behind this pillar. Enemies do flood in the area, pretty frequently. So if you do get overwhelmed, go ahead and backtrack, create a little distance, take cover to deal with different champions, and so you don't get overwhelmed. I am running an elemental well mod build right now, and currently that's the best setup for PvE. If you don't have all the mods, they can be picked up from A to 1 in the tower. The mods rotate daily, so check back in every single day to make sure you pick up something that you don't have. Hot tip, if you don't have access to actually get in game, you can use the Destiny 2 app from your phone and buy anything from the vendors without actually being logged into the game. I find that pretty useful because you can see which guns Banshee, the weaponsmith, is selling, A to 1 has for mods, or even Xur has on the weekends. You'd be surprised, even some of the less used vendors like Failsafe on Nessus or Devrim K in the EDZ have armor pieces that may have large spikes in their resilience or discipline, so it's worth checking that out too. So just continue to clear the ads out and the champions will spawn in. If you didn't already know, some of the bigger Cabal with that big backpack is also a crit spot. So they have two. They have their head, but they also have that backpack. If you shoot the backpack, it'll explode, doing extra damage and then also damaging surrounding enemies. After enough enemies have been cleared out, the boss to the Lost Sector will spawn in. He's that big dude in the back with the yellow gold armor. So the strategy I like to follow is just kind of stay behind this pillar on the left side, clear out all the ads. It is solar burn, so watch out for their shots and the fire flamethrowers they have, and then work your way towards the boss. I would definitely recommend staying behind cover. There's a 50-50 rule. 50% of your screen should be behind cover while the other 50% is exposed. It's a good rule to follow both in PvE and PvP. If you find yourself dying a lot, it's probably because you're out in the open. The boss has those slowing missiles, as well as a solar slug machine gun, and if you get caught out in the open, he can punish you pretty bad. And case in point, when I don't follow my own advice. So if you do go down, it's not the end of the Lost Sector. Just go ahead and, take back over where you were at. You have limited revives, though, so each time you defeat a champion, you gain an additional revive. If you didn't have a weapon with adaptive munitions, a hard light would be a good alternative for this Lost Sector, as you can use the solar function to deal additional damage and then switch to the void bullets to take care of the void shields. I think if I was a new player with limited glimmer, one of the first unlocks I'd get would be the healing grenade. In any activity where you're looking to solo difficult content, survivability is key, so staying alive is what you want to be focused on. So with most of the enemies down, I'm just going to go ahead and push up towards the back of the map, take out the last few additional enemies, and then focus down the boss. I prefer to run the Legend version versus the Master version of Lost Sectors. The difference in the exotic armor drop rate is 33% for the Master versus 25% on the Legend version. So in my opinion, it's easier just to do the Legend version, in 5 to 7 minutes at a 1 in 4 chance of getting armor versus slugging it out in the Master version for only a slightly higher chance. Hey, check out this other video right here. Use my Amazon link down in the description to save money on electronics. Help out the channel at no cost to you. If you have any questions, put it in the comments. Thanks.